let's do this one. The water is gonna stay right here next to me in case some of these questions get too juicy. We are getting nice and comfortable today because I am ready to get roasted. We are finally filming the assumptions video. I asked you guys on Instagram to roast me for this video. Make sure you guys go follow me. It's at Kiara Madisen. I post a lot of interesting, wonderful updates on there. All right, my Wi-Fi isn't working. That's not what we wanted. Oh, I found it. All right, the first one. You are the innocent one of your friend group. Yeah, that's probably true. I assume that you are not religious. That is true. I don't necessarily subscribe to a certain religion, but definitely understand and respect what religion can do for some people, and I think that's awesome. It's just something that I've kind of explored, not really my thing. I assume you don't want to show your weaknesses. I'm gonna say that's partially true. It really depends on the situation. Because in like a professional situation, yeah, but then I'm also like maybe the first one to make fun of myself when I'm like not very good at something. I'm gonna have my friends watch this video and like comment down below if they disagree with any of these answers. So if you know me in real life, you're allowed to dispute any of these. I assume you were popular in high school because you were in a sorority and are going into nursing. This is a very interesting question. So I was in a popular friend group in high school out of like default because it was the same group of friends that I had like hung out with since I was in elementary school. Now, was I like the popular one? No, I was probably like the outcast of the friend group. So I like didn't get invited to a lot of things and definitely had like probably not the easiest middle school, high school experience in terms of friends. If you would have like asked someone at my high school who like doesn't know me very well, they'd probably say, yes, I was in the popular group, but I wasn't a mean girl. I also was friends with like a lot of other groups. Like I had my yearbook friends, I had my ski team friends, just because I'm in a sorority. I mean, I understand like the stereotype that these things are correlated, but I do think it's funny. And I really dislike the stereotype. If you were a mean girl in high school, you go into nursing. Like it's some way to better your karma. That's not the reason I'm going to nursing, and I hate that that is a stereotype, but whatever. I'll get over it. I assume that you're super productive and positive and almost never feel down. I'd say around other people, that is entirely true. Me alone in my apartment having a rough day, completely false. I have really lazy days where I feel just really sad. Those are kind of the days where I won't post on social media and you're not even motivated to post, so that's why you guys don't see that. I assume that you are a saver. This is very true. It's definitely been bred into me since I was very little. For example, one of the things I used to do with my friends was I like decorated a little glass jar and gave them out to all my friends at the start of summer for everyone to save up $100 so that we could all go on a shopping spree together. Now I know that's not like the best example of saving, but I was always into the saving. But I would say I also do end up spending a lot of money because my weakness is that I like to buy gifts for people. I assume you wish you had enjoyed more of your time in college. I think that's false, actually. I think I did a really good job of enjoying every second of my college experience. I was really grateful for these unbelievable moments and memories that I have on ski team, game days that I got to experience. So I would say I enjoyed it to the fullest. I have no regrets about how I spent my college experience, and I'm really grateful I had like a normal college experience, not in nursing school. Like I'm happy the way I did it. I assume you're content without a boyfriend. Maybe I just don't know what I'm missing. Pretty content without one. I know I have a lot of hobbies and a lot of friends, so it's not like I'm wallowing around in my room. Woe is me, I need a boyfriend. Past couple of years, I've definitely thought about, well, what am I missing out on? I see all my friends getting to have these relationships, some good, some bad, and I'm like, I mean, I'd be down. I assume you love to cook but hate doing the dishes. That's actually false. I really don't mind doing the dishes as long as I do the dishes immediately after I'm done cooking. You hate that your YouTube isn't growing. I don't think that's true. Like I really don't think I mind. It just doesn't bother me. Like I'm so grateful for the people who I have. I genuinely feel like I could be friends with all of you guys, which makes me happy. I don't have a crazy amount of trolls, which I feel like would come if my channel was like popping off. So I'd rather have genuine people. I assume that you are incredibly sweet but take no BS. That's probably one of the most accurate descriptions of me that I've ever heard. I assume that your family is somewhat rich. I got a lot of these, like you grew up rich, your family's rich. I could see how people assume that because the part of my life that I show looks like very lavish. I grew up in a very middle class family. Both my parents are blue collar workers. My dad's retired. For the most part, my entire childhood was spending as little money as humanly possible so that when a project would end in the construction industry and my dad would have like an unknown period of time where he was unemployed, we could still survive and like pay a mortgage. I'd say my family was like very financially responsible, which has allowed us to be able to go on vacations that on Instagram look super lavish, but what most people don't see is literally every single vacation I've ever been on, we got for some deal, or we stayed with family friends to save money, or we used flight credits, or we did something to save money. My family's pretty money conscious, and it wasn't like growing up I got everything I wanted. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, I'm unprivileged, because I'm obviously very privileged and genuinely think I had an amazing childhood. If someone's rich, that's great. Like, someone at some point in their life had to work really hard for that money, so that's great that they're enjoying that. But I wouldn't really say my family is rich. They just make smart financial decisions that allow us to like enjoy things that we prioritize. I assume that you are too sad to share nursing school updates. I don't think that's entirely true. I think I've been like pretty transparent. The video that I posted 2 weeks ago kind of sums it up. I haven't shared the details of my schools that I've applied to or any of that, and I don't know like when I will, but one day I will. And I have actually been filming a lot of the maybe sad, bad moments that you guys are wanting to see, and I'm saving them for something. One day when I get into nursing school, we're gonna include the good, the bad, and the ugly so that you can see the whole journey, and it's gonna be a really awesome video. I think a lot of people forget that when I started this process, I knew that I wasn't gonna get into nursing school this year, and I bet a lot of people are like, well then why did you apply if you knew you weren't gonna get in? And it's because I have learned so much about the process. Like, I feel so knowledgeable. I'm ready to be a nursing school counselor to people. I probably should film like a life update soon, so stay tuned for that. I assume you are so tired of being in college. Yes and no. I obviously am really ready to be in nursing school. I guess I'm a little bit tired of taking prereqs, always feeling there's more I should be doing. I do like being in school, and I think it's good for my brain. I assume that you miss your sorority in college at U of O. This is actually false. I miss the people, and I obviously have like sentimental feelings about it, but I totally feel like my life has moved on. In college, I felt like I had such an attachment to high school. Every dance that would come around, certain things in the year would be triggering to me, and I'd still want to be like so a part of that. Now that I've graduated college, I don't feel like I have to be a part of every single experience in college. It also might be easier for me because we're in the middle of a pandemic, and a lot of those normal things that are happening aren't happening. I guess some of the stress and hecticness of it I don't miss, but the people I miss for sure. I assume that you are not globally informed. I'm not as globally informed as I would like to be. In my childhood, my dad and I would watch the nightly news together. Lately, I found that I can watch the episodes on YouTube, so I just go and watch them. I'm trying to be more globally informed, but of course I'm not perfect. Who is? I assume you've never had friendship breakups. That's totally false. I assume you don't fit in with other influencers. I can see how people assume that. I'm maybe not like a part of the big influencer group that everyone sees on the internet. I don't think it's because I wouldn't fit in with them. I think it's just because I haven't gone to events that they've gone to, and I haven't really like met up with them. I assume you only got your CNA license to help your chances of getting into nursing school. Yeah, that's pretty true. That was definitely like a big motivation. Once I was actually in the program, like in the CNA role, felt like I had much more of a purpose, and I actually like wanted to be there because I saw that these people needed me. That was like a reason to get in, but I also wanted to see me in the medical setting and understand if I could handle it. So it was also like a test for myself. All right, water break. These are some really good ones. I assume that you put way too much pressure on yourself. Yeah, I probably do. We're gonna follow it up with this one, which is probably more accurate. You're a perfectionist at heart, but when mistakes happen, you try to laugh them off. I strive to be perfect, but I'm pretty understanding when things are like not happening or going well. Like, I am human. I learned that in college. I had to make a decision of like, okay, I'm gonna be a 4.0 student and do nothing in my life and just lock myself in my room and study my life away. Or I'm gonna be a pretty good student, but I'm gonna have all these other activities that bring me joy and teach me so much more about life. And when I get a B+, it's gonna be okay. And that's really more of the person that I am. I assume that you wanna get married and start a family young. Not really. I wanna have kids, but I am so happy to enjoy my 20s fully until we get to that stage in life. I assume you and Katie aren't close anymore. That's literally so not true. Ooh, you regret not deciding on nursing earlier. That's actually a little bit true, only because if I decided on nursing earlier, I could have taken some of those prerequisite classes at University of Oregon, and I wouldn't have to be paying for them now, and at U of O they would have been covered under my scholarship. So I regret that because I've since had to like go back and pay out of pocket for these classes, which has gotten really expensive. I assume that you have toxic positivity. I apologize if this is rude. I think you're happy all the time. It's not rude at all. That's interesting. I can see how that comes across on camera, and I've been trying to be more careful about that. Like I'm trying to be super real about maybe some of the bad things that are happening. But the truth is like I'm a pretty positive person. So even if something is bad and annoying and frustrating, it's gonna be frustrating for me in the moment, but then I'm pretty quick to be like, all right, how are we gonna move on? And it's kind of in a positive manner. I don't mean for it to be toxic. If you guys want me to show more bad stuff, I'll try. I would say that's like one of my qualities of myself is that I'm a pretty positive person. So it's hard to like just erase that completely out of my life. I assume that you want at least 3 kids. I actually only want 2 kids. So 3 max. I assume you drink but aren't wild getting drunk every weekend. Yes, that's true. I assume that your parents help you financially. That's not true at all. I'm completely financially independent from my parents. The only thing that they help me with is that I am still covered under my mom's health insurance because she works, gets health insurance for our family. So I'm covered until I'm 26. Ooh, I assume that you're rich. I wish I was rich. I wish I was rich and could not stress every single day about having to pay for nursing school. I assume that you have a lot of mental breakdowns off camera. How many is a lot? I would say I have an average amount of mental breakdowns. I don't like to call them mentally breaking down because that makes it seem like there's something wrong. It's so normal to have mental breakdowns. So I'm just gonna say I have a lot of stressed about life moments. I assume that you're a homebody. I am, LOL. Being a homebody, nothing wrong with it. I am like semi-homebody, but at the same time, if I spend too much time inside of my home and don't get out and do some sort of activity, I will go crazy. So in that sense, I definitely have plans in my day because me stuck here for over 24 hours, sad girl vibes. Here's a question to go off of that. I assume that you love to live alone, but sometimes you feel lonely. That's definitely true. But I've gotten pretty good about learning ways to handle that. I assume that you always got good grades as a kid. I feel like my parents played a large role into training me to be a better student. My parents definitely had the incentive method going on for me. So if I got a perfect 4.0, I could get a phone. And then if I got like a perfect 4.0 for a year, I could upgrade my brick phone to an iPhone. That worked for me. I used to be an average student, and then as soon as I hit middle school, I started just getting 4.0 after 4.0 after 4.0 just so I could get my incentives. And it worked to the point where then I didn't even need an incentive there. I just like expected that as the standard for myself. My parents weren't one of those families to be like, oh, you get $30 for an A, 20 for a B. It was like, no, you get all A's or you get nothing. I assume that you curse like a sailor, but you try to stay PG for YouTube. Yeah, that's pretty accurate. Sorry guys, I do not curse on YouTube. Maybe I've said like one bad word or there has been like a bad word said in a video from a friend, but other than that, it's pretty PG. I assume that you're a dog person and have already decided on what dog you're going to have one day. My friends are gonna find that hilarious because I am not like a very big animal person. I'm gonna let my kids have a dog because I was never allowed to have a pet, and that's why I think I'm not like a big pet person. But I got bit by a dog when I was little and it started like my fear of dogs. However, I do have a dog breed that I want. I would love to get a corgi. You've lost a few friends due to having a YouTube channel. Maybe in high school a little bit. I think my friends kind of accept that this is like a part of the package. I've been doing it for almost 7 years. It just kind of is what it is. I assume that you're stressed about next year's plans a little bit. Obviously having the unknown is not ideal, but I'm not freaking out. I'm gonna figure it out. Some of these are so nice. I assume that you're actually the sweetest ever. Oh, I assume that you're the stereotypical only child, doesn't share, etc. Actually, no. I'm like not the stereotypical only child because I love to share. I never got to do it growing up, so every time I get the chance to share, I'm a big sharer. I got a lot of questions about me being a fake blonde. I guess it's pretty obvious now since I haven't got my hair done in 6 months, but yes, I am a fake blonde. When I was about a sophomore in college, I started getting highlights. If you guys need a good place to get your hair done, you need to go to the Yellow Salon in Portland and ask for Kaylee to do your hair. She's amazing and does so many of my friends' hair. I'm gonna put her Instagram down below. I assume that you love bacon but won't eat it to save pigs. I actually hate bacon and I won't eat it to save pigs. I assume that you have a crush on Justin Herbert because of his hair. I have a crush on Justin Herbert because of his brains. The guy is smart, athletic, and cute. He's the full package. You assumed that I dated Justin Herbert? I assume that guys are intimidated by you. I don't know. If you're a guy, am I intimidating? Maybe that's my problem. I hope that was interesting to you guys. Thank you so much for all of your assumptions. I hope you still like me. Question of the day is gonna be one of 2 things. Either 1, you can assume something else about me and I will try to respond. Or number 2, you can comment down below your best quality and a quality that you wanna work on about yourself. It could be like a little goal setting moment. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up. I love you guys so crazy much and I hope you have a wonderful day and a wonderful week. Boom. I worry that I'm crazy, 'cause if it's all
It's all true. I mean, you know I ain't lying, 'cause I hate wasting time. You said